Today, I want to talk about something that's relevant to all of us, work stress. Work stress can lead to depression, anxiety, fatigue, so many different things. But I want to share some powerful and helpful strategies to put in your tool belt. So I want you to imagine your boss sends you an email about an unfinished project, and boom, you're in this state of high alert. You have this automatic fight or flight response. So your mind might be really foggy, you might feel confused, you might have negative thoughts, you might have so many possibilities of what if. What is the link between stress and burnout? So whenever we are in this state of high alert consistently, oftentimes burnout could be knocking at your door. For example, you might notice you're very cynical with your work. There's this overexhaustion. There is this detachment from what you want to do. And burnout is not just a feeling, it actually does happen. There's some warning signs that we do need to be careful in terms of burnout, but we are going to take it one step at a time. Let's look at the link between stress and burnout. So chronic stress is this constant state of that fight or flight response. It's meant to be turned on and off. So there's some warning signs that we need to be mindful of, like excessive worry, lack of control, unfairness, and mismatched values. There are so many devastating impacts of chronic stress and burnout, but a lot of people don't know the signs. They don't know the different stages of burnout. Stage 2, you end up pushing and pushing and pushing. So this is for those people pleasers right here, the people that want to make a good impression, the perfectionistic people. They're always constantly pushing themselves to the next level. So this constant drive in stage 1 of being enthusiastic, and then 2, pushing yourself, we need to be mindful. Stage 3, with this constant push, we then say, oh, it's okay. I don't need to see my friend. Oh, it's okay. I'm gonna skip my gym class today. It's okay. I'm just gonna sit and do the work. So what's happening? We're prioritizing work really over our well-being. And as we prioritize work, we're lacking sleep, we're lacking the attention that we need. And therefore, we then try to avoid conflict. We try to avoid anything that will distract us. So instead of dealing with the situations that come up, we kind of start brushing them to the side. Stage 5. So remember, we are ambitious, we want to win, we want to push ourselves to the best. We then decide to kind of, not prioritize our self-care. And then we then say, you know what, I don't want to deal with conflict. So stage 5 happens where we begin to prioritize only work, and this is our only focus. When work becomes your only focus, you can think about what is it that you talk about. When you go out with friends, what's the first thing that you talk about? If you're in this stage, you're probably not seeing as many of your friends as you want to, right? So pay attention to this. Number 6, we're in denial. When things are brought to our attention, I know for me personally, I have sisters that have told me, you need to slow down. And I was in denial. I still do a lot now, but I need to be mindful of this. A lot of times we start blaming other people, blaming the work, blaming everything else than actually us taking accountability for the decisions and the yeses that we're saying. So be mindful of that. And then we enter stage 7, where we tend to start withdrawing because we want to conserve the energy. Because if we are putting so much into our work and we're really not being tapped up by self-care, talking to other people, doing passion projects that we enjoy, we start shutting out the world around us. And this is where we become really cynical. This is where we really don't have that connection anymore with what we do. Stage 9, we then detach completely. from our personal lives, from the people around us. And then we kind of just zone into what we need to do, but then we're actually not really being intentional and present in the everyday. Stage 10 is where there's a sense of emptiness. Because remember, we've hyper-focused, we want to be the best, we want to push ourselves, we might find it really hard to say no, we are shutting out other people, we're not prioritizing our mental health. And as a result, we're not getting tapped into. And over time, there's this emptiness that we feel. And there's this shallowness. And this is where sometimes the symptoms of burnout could look very much like depression, because there's this shallow feeling and this feeling like, what is the purpose? Why am I doing this? But guess what? I'm not talking to anyone. So it might be challenging for me to actually ask for help. 12, we enter the burnout stage where we're totally cynical, we're exhausted, we don't want to do anything, we're no longer happy at work, we are no longer investing, we're not volunteering, we're no longer signing up for projects, we second guess maybe our career choices, and we fantasize for a vacation, but the vacation won't help. So let's fight back in terms of work stress. There are things that we can do to empower ourselves and to fill our toolboxes. Have a problem-solving mindset. Whenever things are coming to you, break it down in small chunks. Brainstorm different ways to solve the issue and then take action. This will help you not to be completely stuck. Another tip is being intentional. Some people like to call it mindfulness, but I like to call it intentionality. So being present in the moment. When you're doing a task, focus on this task. Try not to multitask, because when you're multitasking, a lot of your energy is going to so many different places. And take the time to soak in the moment, because this intentionality can help you to actually enjoy and be grateful for the moments. Because when it's time to be busy, you won't have this sense of regret because you literally soaked up every single moment. Another tip is what you're thinking. Is it positive or negative? Do you know how to turn that negative thought into a positive one or even a neutral one? Because when we think negatively, oftentimes it leads to a lot of self-doubt. It helps us to feel down, helps us to feel like we can't give our best or we are not enough. I challenge you, the next time something happens, say, what if with something positive? Another tip is detaching from your work. How do you detach? On weekends, do you have blocks of time that's simply just for you to recharge? Why do we need to know ourselves? It's important for the next tip, setting the boundaries, learning to say no. I know last weekend, I definitely overcommitted. I wanted to do so many things that were super fun. I got to connect with a lot of people that I wasn't connecting with within a while. But I noticed after I reflected, why was I so tired on Monday? Why did I not want to get up out of my bed? It's because I didn't allow myself the opportunity to have some downtime for me. So allowing yourself not to overcommit by sometimes saying, is it okay if I get back to you? Oh, can you tell me a little bit more about that? All these things are delay strategies that can help you decide if this is something that you want to do. And if you're not comfortable saying it to the person's face, there's nothing wrong with letting them know via text as well and then following up. Sometimes we just need that icebreaker to get things going. The last tip is address the stress in real time. Don't shove it down. If you're noticing that something's happening, talk about it. Don't keep it to yourself. What ends up happening when we keep it to ourselves and we ignore it, other people often get the short end of the stick. A lot of times we might explode on someone else. We might displace our feelings or aggression. So important to be mindful and talk about the stress. If you need to delegate, if you need to do different things, don't be afraid of that. And remember, you are not alone. I want you to turn your stress into stepping stones to learn a little bit more about you and stepping stones to connect to others. If you'd like to book a consultation call with me to learn about stress and how to troubleshoot some stressful situations in your life, don't forget to book a consultation call with me. The link is in the description. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit the like button or hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much. See you next time.